She's been in. Good evening, wrestling fans, entertainment fans. This is Anthony DeBlasi of www.wrestling-news.com. I want to thank you very much for listening tonight. Got a very special guest on the line. Her website is www.tessbroussard.net. In the entertainment world, she has been involved in numerous films and TV shows. She's been a Harley girl. She's been involved with many magazines and calendars. She is an advocate against animal cruelty, and she is soon going to be setting up the Tess Broussard Foundation for Abused Women. In the wrestling world, she is simply known as Steve Austin's ex-girlfriend. But I present to you tonight Tess Broussard. Tess, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Oh, my pleasure, Anthony. And hey, everybody out there.
One thing I want to let everyone know, if anybody's listening tonight, if there's anything that we do not get into, it's specifically for legal reasons, because there are some ongoing cases going on, and we do not want to interfere with them. One thing that I can say to open up tonight, the alleged stabbing incident that took place in California in that restaurant at that time. It involved yourself in allegedly stabbing the manager or business associate of Steve Austin's. Now, basically, just to confirm this, the district attorney has dropped all charges against you?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. What was the reason why they dropped the charges?
It was frivolous.
Okay.
I'm a 105-pound woman. There are three big men right there who are in the profession of what? Wrestling, fighting. They're all athletic, and another one who is in the profession of self-defense. Now, you do the math.
Right.
You tell me, Anthony.
Well, the DA dropped the charges. That's enough for me. The one thing I want to let everyone know is that the lawsuit that is currently ongoing between Tess Broussard and Steve Austin, the one that she filed this way before district attorney dropped any charges against it. And as we will discuss, there's quite a few reasons behind it. And hopefully, with everything that's going on, other abused women will benefit from it, because you're starting the Tess Broussard Foundation. Tell me a little about that.
Yeah, Mary. I want to be able to at least help some other women in my situation who are not so fortunate to get out, and have a place for them and enlighten them and give them some type of support. Know that they're not the only ones out there, and if I could just help one person, that would mean a lot to me.
Right. That's great, and I'll tell you, this way before National Enquirer had even alluded to putting out any claims.
Oh, yes, I have. I'm sorry, you faded out. Yeah, I have been pursuing this foundation. I've been also, I'm working on my own women's and pet accessory line, where I make custom high-end charms and pieces and collars with like skulls. And you can tell me what kind of charms you want. I have pictures and a brochure, and all that's going to be their teeth. Skulls with crystals as charms, and it's just high end. It's a little edgy, but they're real nice pieces, and a lot of proceeds will go to the Tess Broussard Foundation.
And some of the stuff is for animals?
Yes.
Really?
Actually, animals. Yeah, I love animals. I'm an animal lover.
For all my regular visitors to the website and the callers, they notice right up front, I am a huge animal lover. And when we first started talking, and you were telling me the stories of, some of the animal abuse that went on, where Steve Austin locked your animals in the house and they almost died from being locked in the closet, that just really got to me.
Well, I found it so profound, and it was horrible. Horrible that I had 5 cats, right, and I had 2 dogs, and the cats were locked up in a closet upstairs, no AC on. It was 105. My neighbors found them because I was in California at the time, and I had her watch the animals, and she says they're gone. So for a week, she couldn't find them, and then I don't know what made her go to a certain room upstairs, and she found them there. No food, no water, and there was just feces everywhere, all over the cats, and they were like real sick. And so
they're okay now?
Well, they're okay now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 stories going around online, and somehow these got intertwined with each other, and I want to just clear up one of them right now, because there's a story going around that you experienced some unfortunate injuries, and that was stemming from a car accident.
That's true.
You and Steve Austin. And a lot of people were under the impression that you suffered these the broken bones in your foot from being thrown out of a vehicle, which actually is a whole different story, which we'll get into a little bit later. But explain to everyone what basically happened with the auto accident, which caused you the permanent injuries in your foot.
Oh, okay. Well, we were riding around in the neighborhood one night, and Steve ran into. He hit a tree, and he told the truck. The hit was so. I don't really remember it because I was knocked out unconscious. But when I was at the hospital, I woke up, and the doctor said that I may never be able to walk again. So that was just. I was pretty shocked, and because I'm a pretty active person, and I'm pretty athletic, and I had my third and fourth metatarsals. They were all pretty much disintegrated.
Oh,
so I have a rod with 12 screws in my foot, holding my foot together.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was in a wheelchair for about 3 months, and crutches for probably about 5 months.
And it somewhat makes sense, because when I looked at your biography and a lot of the work that you've done in films and in magazines, a lot of it stops right around the beginning of 2003. And
that's when I got into the accident.
Right, and this was at the same time that you got into the accident, and here you are, and at that time, I think you were only dating Steve Austin for about a month. And originally, you two met in California.
Correct.
And, for the people that don't know, Steve, a lot of people thought, like, after you broke up and everything, that he went and got an apartment in California. He actually had a place in California even before you two ever met, when he was still involved with Deborah.
Correct.
So you basically moved about a month into the relation, moved to Texas with him, and then a month after that, you were in this accident where you basically, you had the injuries to your foot. Now, here you are lied up in a wheelchair for a few months, and he's still working for WWE at the time. At the time, since you found out that there was alcohol involved with the accident, did you think at the time that there was a problem?
Yeah, I thought there was a problem.
Did you confront him about it? I mean...
Yes, I did. I said that he should slow down, and I think that he has a drinking problem.
What did he say to you?
Well, what do people say when they're in denial? He didn't say anything.
Okay.
He said, I can handle it, basically.
It seems like when you first met, there was no problems, and then as time went by, it almost sounds like he let his guard down, and his real attitude came out. And that's when incidents started happening. You told me some pretty disturbing incidents.
Well, let's just put it this way. I mean, it was awesome meeting him in the beginning, because he was just like a charmer. He wooed me. He just adorned me with flowers and cards and telephone calls and bombarded me with them. I kind of like that kind of guy, who chases after a woman.
Right.
I'm Southern, and he did a real good job of that. But to answer your question, I noticed that there was kind of a pattern, but, I thought I could help him. I thought I could kind of change him a little bit. He was in 2 auto accidents back to back. The first one was without me, and I was there. I was like, oh, my gosh, he crashed his brand new Porsche into a side of a restaurant. He was drunk, and I tried to have him saved and not get the police involved. Well, actually, that was kind of a disservice to me and to Steve at the same time, because maybe he does need help. That was fine, and I just didn't see it because it was new to me.
Right.
And I just met Steve.
Yeah.
Now, so then 1 month later after that, I'm in a car accident with him, and he totals the second car. Okay? I'm unconscious. He has a black eye, a broken nose. There's blood all over the front seat. I'm in the hospital, and the doctor tells me I could probably never walk. I've broken my third and fourth metatarsals. I've got to have surgery immediately. Now, gosh, nothing. I've never ever broken a bone my whole life, or for that matter, probably had any fractures. I'm kind of a powder puff in that sense.
Okay.
So it was pretty hard. It was really hard on me emotionally and physically. I couldn't really move. And now, mind you, we had no furniture in the house except a bed and a table.
Right.
So we're living in this big, big house. It's probably about 7,000 square feet, and the kitchen and the bedroom are opposite ends of the house. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like in a wheelchair, putting myself in, and going to the kitchen, trying to make myself some some food. And I had a nurse that came over when she was gone and helped me cook and clean while my foot was getting well and healed. And then I eventually moved my stuff into the house, and so furniture. So we had some furniture like couches and things like that, and armoire and kitchen table and odds and ends.
Right.
So yeah, it was pretty hard. So I noticed a pattern there, and that's when I started becoming more aware.
You told me incidents where he refused to let you watch certain cable channels. You want to elaborate on that? Because that blew my mind when you told me that.
I thought that was a bit odd myself. I wasn't allowed to watch BET because he called me an N-lover. He didn't want me to watch anything that had anything to do with HBO, Cinemax, Showtime. None of that, because he just wouldn't let me watch it because I've done some stuff on HBO, Cinemax, and Showtime. I'm kind of like in my past before I met him, I was being movie queen.
Sure.
So everything that I've done has already been rated by the industry. It's all rated R.
And you know what? Not to flip-flop, and I know using the term flip-flop is not the right word to use right now with this presidential race, but to go back to last week's National Enquirer, one of the claims in the lawsuit is that you misrepresented yourself and that your name is Brenda Tess Broussard, and that you never used the term Tess because Tess Broussard obviously leads to the B-movie background. Now, everything in your house, everything you signed, all your papers, you signed everything Tess?
Correct. My first name is Brenda, and my middle name is Tess. I go by Tess. So it's Tess Broussard. Yeah, everything, all my bank mail and bills, it's Tess Broussard. Okay.
I just want to clarify that because when I started thinking about that, I was like, how could, if we could find all this, and I never dated you, I mean, how does this guy not know it? But,
Anthony, this is totally fabricated. I mean, anybody can see that.
Right. And by the way, let me compliment you on being the most beautiful 51-year-old that I've ever seen.
Thank you, Anthony.
I'll let you be the one to tell everyone. Are you 51 years old?
No, I'm not. I am in my late 30s.
Okay.
But I'm not 51. But when I do become 51, I hope to look like this and feel this way.
Right.
Not just the vitamins and not just the vitamins and good eating habits.
Hey, it's Option One. I want to thank you very much for listening, and I want to thank Tess Broussard for coming up here once again. And it's funny because we were talking off the line a little bit, about this whole lawsuit that was filed, and one of the claims was that you didn't reveal who you really were, which is amazing in itself. But we remember, did Steve Austin go on Howard Stern and said that he did his research and you're very well off, or your family's very well off, or something?
Yes, he did. Back in October, during his when we were traveling together, when he was doing his book tour, I helped him organize and help line up people when he didn't have adequate people helping him. He did say, and I heard him on the radio, I wasn't there at the Howard Stern show because he didn't want me going, but I did hear him say that he did his research, and he said that my family's well off, that I wasn't one of those kind of girls that would go after him just because of his money.
One thing I noticed is that it seems like as long as you were around women, he had no problem. But the minute there's men around, there was always a problem.
Oh, I was at a neighbor's house. This is funny. I was at a neighbor's house for dinner, and then we were going to Bible study. Mm-hmm. And because they had Bible study in their house, and he accused me of going to a bar. Mm-hmm. Now, I think he's a little insecure. I mean, we all have that in us. I can be a little insecure too, but yeah, he was very possessive, very insecure, and jealous as a person. But I sort of liked some of it, and I sort of didn't like some of it. When it got past its boundaries, I didn't like it anymore. But I knew he cared about me. But no, he didn't like introducing me to any men, not even his guy friends when we go to parties or like to when we went up to the wedding at for Stephanie McMahon. Is that her name?
Stephanie and Triple H.
Right. There were guys there that he would talk to, some of his friends there. But we would sit and we would stare at each other in the face, and I wasn't introduced. But when a female came up, yeah, there was no problem. Like, he introduced me to Linda McMahon, who I thought was just a doll. and Stephanie, which I thought was a doll. But when it came to male people, I didn't know him. I just said hi, and that was it.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well,
but I would never, ever, ever cheat on a guy that I'm with, that I'm involved with, because I just don't believe in that. I would seriously get hurt if I found out a guy was cheating on me, because I give him and I expect the same thing in return.
Talking about cheating, the incident where it was reported online that you were thrown out of a vehicle. The story that went around was that you had found emails from an underage person. We're not going to say the person's age. We'll just say under 17, and from England. And apparently the emails were very, I don't know what would be the best way to word it, very...
sexual in content?
All right, very sexual in content. This is an underage girl. Now, if anybody's listening, put yourself in a position like that. Forget it if your partner's famous or not. Just boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, male and male, I care less. But picture yourself in a serious relationship. Come home, go on the computer, because you're very smart. And that sounds like one of the problems that he had, because you lived in a house with no furniture.
I bought my own furniture from my place in L.A. in a one-bedroom condo to his house that was like 7,000 square feet.
Right.
Now, why he didn't buy furniture, I can't think of a real good reason why, but I can think of many stupid reasons why. But I found a letter and some emails, and I was hurt.
Now, you held this in for a few months because, like I took you off the line. Why didn't you just leave him right then and there? And I guess it's harder when you're in a relationship, and plus, you said...
Well, gosh, I loved him, Anthony. Just because somebody cheats, like right then and there, I'm not the kind of person to say, okay, I'm just going to leave you right now. I am the kind of person that wants to understand what's going on, because I'm pretty psychologically astute. I'm very mental in the sense that I'm, like I said, I'm psychologically astute. I'm in tune with it. I'm aware. And maybe he had some reasons, and maybe I could understand the issues. But I guess I was maybe quite in denial that I didn't want to figure out that he was, or even come close to the fact that he was cheating on me, because that would hurt so much.
Right.
Then I realized that, gosh, if that's an underage girl, he needs help, because this kind of stuff doesn't need to be going around. How would you feel if you had a child who was going out with a 40-year-old man, and your daughter was 13 years old,
right,
and they were sleeping in the same room for a one-night stand?
Well,
he said nothing happened, and he always swept the discussion under the carpet, so we never really got to talk about it. But then when I saw the emails coming and I saw the letters coming from this young girl, I'm like, either A, he's leading her on, or B, okay, well, obviously she's a groupie. I know he's got groupies, but you know what? I mean, this is sick. This is really sick. He's 40 years old.
Right. Well,
he's supposed to have two girls, that are that age, and he's sleeping with this girl?
Right. The thing that I always thought about was, how did you get his email address and his, home personal contact information?
I was curious about that too, Anthony, and I asked him. He never told me.
Right. And then the incident in the car where you basically threatened him, and that's when he basically pulled you out of the car.
I told him, I said, you need help. I said, this is ridiculous. I go, you know what? I'm going to call the police for you being a pedophile. I mean, you're like R. Kelly, especially with R. Kelly. And funny enough, he's got R. Kelly's PR people to have them handle him right now.
Yeah.
So I said, you need help. I'm going to call the police, because there's, I can't let this happen. As much as I love you, whether I'm your girlfriend or not, to be with an underage girl is ridiculous. It's heinous.
Right.
And then that's when he grabbed my phone and he smashed it to the ground, and that's when the things happened, the confrontations happened.
Right.
And he had his phone, so therefore, he had the advantage, the upper hand.
And that's pretty much where the relationship pretty much ended for the most part.
Yeah, I've accepted that. I see the pattern, and at first I didn't see the pattern, but now I do.
Let me ask you a question off the record. I mean, how are you doing now?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. I'm healing. I'm learning warning signs about abusive men. I've I'm keeping busy. I'm busy. I'm living in California, and I do have dear friends still in Texas, and I go back and I stay with them, and I travel. And I'm volunteering still at the animal shelter. I'm making my own line of women's accessories and pet accessories, like I said before, charms and high-end, cutting-edge charms, like rock and roll stuff with bling bling on it, with a little wrapper or Paris Hilton kind of a touch to it. And they're going to be sold on my website, and you guys check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to put your link on my on the transcript and everything, so people could click on it.
Yeah, because a lot of the proceeds go to the foundation that helps women, against domestic violence, and I want to set up a government-subsidized foundation program for women where who have kids, and did you know that 89% of women who are victimized go back to their partner because they don't have any source of income, and that their only source of income is from their abused partners. So I'd like for them to have a private place to go to, and they can learn, they can have education, they have a nursery there so that their kids can be taken care of while they learn their trade. And
that's wonderful. And
a safe place to stay.
And especially with the animal stuff, anybody that looks at your history, you've been an advocate against animal cruelty for a very long time, way before any human cruelty transpired. I commend you on all the work that you're doing right now. It seems that you're on your way to getting everything in order, and like you said, if you could help one person from personal experience, to me, I give you a lot of credit for what you're going through.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to give back. I'm not the selfish kind of person. I just I do believe in giving back.
Right.
Because my father was like that.
I commend you for it. And
thank you.
We will definitely be doing a follow-up interview with you. We'll be putting all the updates regarding Touch the Sock Foundation. I'll support it.
Yeah, I would love that. And, everybody out there, thank you so much for listening. And I appreciate all the fan mail and the support. And I love them. I keep them. And they've been such a source of inspiration to me. So, I just want you guys to know that. And Anthony, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again. Thanks, guys.